1954. Little Ricky is driving with his parents, sisters, and Aunt Joyce to the sea resort. When they arrive, Ricky opens the door, rushes to the beach, and stares at the sea. He was only 5 years old, and he couldn't swim. Aunt Joyce patted him at the back and said, "Little Ricky, what's that for 10 shilling that you won't be able to learn how to swim by the end of our trip?" "Aunt Joyce, I can." Many years later, little Ricky will become Sir Richard Branson, the richest man in the United Kingdoms, the multi-billionaire and owner of over 400 successful companies. But this day, little Ricky faced the biggest challenge of his entire life. For 2 weeks, every day, he was floundering in the water. He fought with the big waves. He froze in the cold water. But he still didn't learn how to swim. Little Ricky, don't worry. Next summer, you will definitely learn how to swim. The entire way home, little Ricky was staring through the window and thinking about his big loss. A few miles before they reached the house, he noticed a river. "Hey, we're not yet home. The trip is not over. It's my last chance to win the bet. Dad, stop!" The dad pulled to the side of the road. Ricky opened the door, rushed toward the beach, jumped into the river. The stream picked him up. He went under the water, in the cold water. He was floundering from the whole strength, then pushed from the stone and swam. He was swimming like a little dog. He was swimming in circles, but he won that bet. Aunt Joyce handed him 10 shillings. 17 years later, after a successful launch of the student startup magazine and the chain of music shops, 22-year-old Richard decided to launch his own recording company. And to launch that, he needed to buy a beautiful old house near London. It was perfect for such groups like Rolling Stones, Beatles, to hang around and record their best hits. And it costed £30,000, an enormous amount of money in the 1970s. He was proud of himself, really proud, because he managed to get a loan from the bank for £20,000, much more than he expected. But he still lacked £10,000. And his last resort was his family. So he went to his dad and said, "Dad, remember those money you have put to the trust fund for me and my sisters so that I could get £2,500 when I reach 30 years? Can you give it to me now?" "Sure, son, I'll give you the money. But tell me where you're going to get the rest, £7,500. "Honestly, Dad, I have no idea." "That's okay, son. Go to Aunt Joyce. She might have some money for you." Richard went to Aunt Joyce, and she gave him £7,500. He bought that house, which eventually will become Virgin Records, one of the most successful recording companies in the world. But at that time, he knew that without his family, without the help and support of his family, he wouldn't be able to buy that house. The only thing he didn't know was that Aunt Joyce didn't have £7,500. She actually took the loan and mortgaged the house she lived in to give him money. He went to Aunt Joyce and asked, Aunt Joyce, why did you lend me that money? And she said, Ricky, I wanted you to give this money. And I know that you'll give me it back when you can. And about your persistence, I have no doubt. Remember that bat at the sea? You honestly wanted. 13 years later, Richard has founded his own airline. And he was flying his own Boeing 737 to New York. All his family was on board. He was proud. All his family was proud. He looked at his parents, looked at his wife, looked at his children, and Aunt Joyce, and thought, I would be never able to become who I am now without help and support of my family. Let me ask you the same question. Would you be able to become who you are now without help and support of your family? Believe in your children. Believe in your nieces and nephews. Help your relatives. Because chances are that they will be never able to achieve what they potentially can achieve without you. Mr. Toastmaster.
Please take a minute to write your comments on